Alright, Namaste everyone and welcome back to our course on time series analysis and forecasting, going from a noob to a pro. Great. So in the last few videos, we built our intuition and understanding of what time series data is and what are its different components that form time series data, right? So in this video, we will quickly go over some of the many popular and underrated tasks that are performed on a time series data, right? So things like your time series forecasting is a very popular task that often performed on time series data, but there are a few other tasks as well that you may or may not know about, right? So let's go over some of the time series tasks that are performed. All right, so the first one is time series analysis, right? So a very popular interview question, and the one that I also often ask when I'm taking interview, is that what is the difference between time series analysis and time series forecasting, right? So yes, often they are interchangeably used, but they are totally different. So time series analysis in a nutshell is modeling over the data to understand the time series data, right? So if we say for a linear regression, the equation is the y equals mx plus c. So understanding what the m is, what the c is, that forms or the data at hand, right? That is analysis. So similarly, here also we analyze what actually is going on with the data, so as to understand what are the different components of this data and how we can better understand it. So modeling or analysis of time series is exactly that. Let's see an example. Right. So as you can see, this is the time series data in dark blue. Let me change the color. So here in dark blue is the time series data, right? And in yellow is the Rmax. In pink is Sarma. So these are all different models that we will go over in the future lessons, right? So as you can see, the Rmax equation is trying to model very well over the time series data, right? So it is understanding what is happening with the data right here, right? So this is exactly what it is called time series analysis, to basically understand what is going on with the data, right? So the primary object here is to analyze the time series, right? Commonly known as time series modeling. Yes, we discussed this. So time series analysis is also called as time series modeling. The process involves fitting the right model to interpret the underlying factors that have impacted the data in the observation, right? So what are the underlying factors that are making these spikes and troughs in the data, the rise and lows of the data, right? These models are mostly mathematical and statistical in nature, of course, right? So spoiler alert, this is from one of the time series analysis project that we will do in one of the future lessons. Here is the Sarimax model that has been a model, Sarimax all right, so spoiler alert, this is a screenshot from one of the projects that we will do in the future. This is a time series analysis project. Here is the ARIMA model. Here are the analysis. So AR, this is the coefficient, this is the intercept. And don't worry if this is not making sense right now. We will look into this in the future. This is very similar to your linear regression when we try to find out the equation of y equals m1x1 plus m2x2, etc. right? Alright, so the more popular one, time series forecast, and by the name itself we know that it is trying to find out the values that will occur in the future, right? So this is called time series forecasting, right? So as we can see, this was the data at hand, and this is the period that we are trying to forecast the values for. So the model learned what this data is about and tried to forecast some values in the future, right? All right, so the primary object here is to predict future events, right, based on the historic events in the time series, which is what is forecast. The process involves fitting the right model to predict the future events, and here accuracy of prediction holds more importance than the interpretability, right? So here we want to have more accurate forecast results, and we do not care as much about the interpretability of the time series, right? So this is time series modeling or time series analysis, but this is time series forecast, right? These models range from statistical models, which were used in time series analysis. They are also used for time series forecast, then machine learning, deep learning based models, BI and automated tools. And we will see examples of these, actually great examples of these in the future videos and lessons. Another example here. So this was the data. It was going uphill. This is the period that we want to forecast it for, right? And this is the time series model. All right. Another very underrated yet very popular in the industry task for time series is time series classification, right? Very, very interesting. So just like your machine learning classification tasks, time series classifications also slots your time series activity into different categories, right? So it predicts categories based on the activities that is happening in the time series data. Depending on the time series, it can be classified into different categories or labels. So for example, your smartwatch can detect whether you are sleeping or sitting or walking, running, etc. It can detect low heartbeat, high heartbeat, low SpO2 measures, high SpO2 measures, etc. Here I actually did a workout just to give you guys an example. This is my smartwatch detecting the level of activity, the aerobic activity, depending on my breath. So this one was light, where I was doing a light workout. It goes into intensive, aerobic, and extreme. So here I was panting. This is a great example. And this is all based on the time series data. Let's go over some of the other important tasks. So these were the main tasks involved in time series analysis and forecasting. Let's see some of the other tasks as well. EDA, of course, exploratory data analysis, becomes a crucial process in any time series task, be it classification, be it analysis, be it modeling, be it forecasting. EDA of the data is essential, right? And EDA for time series data is a little different from your regular EDA of every other machine learning problem. It helps not only analyze the time series at hand, but also helps selecting the best model for forecasting, of course, just like your machine learning problems. While the concept is similar to the standard EDA practice, the execution becomes slightly different, which we discussed, right? The execution for EDA of time series is a little different than the EDA for any other machine learning tasks. Anomaly detection. Well, yes, as the name suggests, the task involves detecting anomalies in your data, right? So let's see an example. Suppose this is your value, say sales. This is the time. And this is it growing, and suddenly there is a bleep here and it keeps on growing. Now what is this? This is away from the regular. Regularly it should have been something like this, but suddenly there was a dip. So this is an anomaly. This could be due to anything, a fault in the data tracking system, or it could be a sale event or whatever. So detecting these anomalies becomes then crucial for our analysis and forecasting tasks as well. Here, another example of that anomaly. The regular data was going somewhere along this line, and suddenly there was a spike. This is an anomaly which we need to figure out and treat it, either remove it or normalize it. And we will see examples of this. Alright, so just to summarize, some of the major tasks involved are modeling, time series modeling, which is analysis, time series forecasting, which is predicting future events, time series classification, which is labeling your time series data into different class labels or different categories. Some of the other tasks are EDA and anomaly detection. Alright, so here is the end to our quick video. See you in the next one. Ciao.